6 Northern Terrafly runway heading, runway 5. Clear for takeoff.
From Psychic Sundays to ET Contact and everything in between, this is Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with host Elizabeth Anglin.
Check it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'd be great. So guys, smoke now.
You can connect with Elizabeth on Skype at 505-908-9558 and Spirit for Peace. Follow Liz on Twitter at Elizabeth Anglin and hashtag SpacedOutRadio. And you can connect with us on the web at spacedoutradio.com.
I feel the need for speed.
You feel it over and over again. We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over again.
Chillers, real now. Smoke off now.
This is the life we live again.
Chillers, ready, Lord.
Letting go the heart will go.
Contact.
Nothing is
Easing up. Chillers, real now.
just look inside and feel it over and over.
Real now. One left.
We take you.
Don't look much like Los Angeles to me. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Now taking you on a spiritual journey from the desert of New Mexico this Sunday night, here's Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin.
Chillers, ready, Mr. Guitar. Contact. Chillers, turn now. Smoke on now. Chillers, ready, Mr. Guitar. Speak now. Chillers, turn now.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cosmic Passport on Spaced Out Radio. This is Elizabeth Anglin, your host. I am coming to you live from the wild, wacky, and wonderful desert southwest, just north of Albuquerque, Madrid, New Mexico. Thank you for being with us on this New Year's Eve. Happy end of 2017. Happy beginning of 2018. We are so happy to be here with our resident medium from Brazil, Paul Simons, and astrologer. He's been doing astrology longer than mediumship, so this will be fun. For all of you guys listening in from around North America and the world, I want to welcome everyone listening on WQEE 99 Rock, the Key in Noonan, Georgia, at spacedoutradio.com on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and on thefringe.fm. I also want to thank Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy, for creating the music that makes Spaced Out Radio Weekend rock, the official spacedoutradio.com music. If you are online, check us out on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like at Spaced Out Radio Show. On Facebook, you can follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. Tune us in on TuneIn. Download our shows from iTunes. We're also on RadioGuide.fm, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And of course, our website is spacedoutradio.com. If you go to patreon.com, we have some cool offers for you, our listeners, there as well. Make sure you check those out. We also have a GoFundMe, Spaced Out Radio GoFundMe. It's GoFundMe We Own the Night. We're trying to get some equipment so Dave Scott can get syndicated during the 5 nights of the week. And, you know, hey, if you give big, maybe I can get equipment too. You never know. Come on, guys, give to the GoFundMe at We Own the Night on GoFundMe. For all of you who are in our chat rooms, yes, if you want to take part in the show tonight, you have two options. We will do a call-in show at the end of the hour at 10 o'clock Pacific. We will open up the phone lines for people to call in and ask our resident psychic, Paul Simons from Brazil, questions either astrological or mediumship-wise. If you're in the chat room on Spreaker, you can ask your question through the chat room. If you're on the SOR Space Travelers Club, you can ask your question through there. Now, if you head to our website at spacedoutradio.com for just $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. We offer some pretty decent stuff there for you, our valued listener. And it's our opportunity to get back to you. So check that out. And if you haven't gone to the Encounter, our news section, please do so. Our editor, Eric Markham, has done some cool stuff with that. If you have an experience you can't explain, fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our researchers are ready to help you find out what's going on. And again, a big thanks to everyone listening in on WQEE 99 Rock the Key, to the Spaced Out Radio family way down in Noonan, Georgia. Thank you for being here. Renegade Talk Radio out of Las Vegas. Hey, we are live in Sin City. Thank you for listening in. The United Public Radio Network on 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and their listeners from 160 countries around the world. Hey guys, thank you for being here. We're all here together, and it's going to be a blast. Everybody in the chat rooms, hey, Happy New Year's. We're all here together on New Year's with our resident astrologer and psychic, Paul Simons. And I want Paul to tell you about his abilities and experience, because he's been doing astrology for a long time. How you doing tonight, Paul?
Great. Well, Happy New Year. And I'm really excited about these 2018 charts. What I've prepared is a chart for the United States for 2018, for Canada, for North Korea, and also for Russia. And I want to point out and look and compare the different charts and what type of experiences you should expect or will see develop from these different countries based on the astrology at 12 midnight, January 1, 2018.
Well, that's great. Paul, we may have some new listeners. A lot of our regulars are aware of who you are. But could you tell us a little bit about your history with astrology before you go into that?
Oh, okay, sure. I went to an astrologer in 1978, and I had my birth chart cast, and I asked her towards the end of the astrology reading if she could look at a certain date in 1971, and she took that date, and she took a piece of like layover paper, and she put the planets, and she showed an accident that had happened and why I wasn't killed and what exactly happened, and she could explain it with astrology. This really fascinated me, and that was actually what encouraged me to learn astrology in 1978, and it'll be about 40 years in August this year, August 2018, that I've been doing astrology. And what I do is relationship astrology between two people, individual astrology from a birth chart, transit and progressions of a person, like what 2018 will be like, or what 2019 will be like, looking at an individual year. And I can also look at a business, when they incorporated a marriage, when you actually got married, a event like buying a house, how that house will be when you actually pass papers. And what I'm doing with the 2018 charts is actually an event astrology. We're taking January 1, 2018 of these different countries based on the city where the country works out of, like Washington, D.C. for the United States, Ottawa, Canada for Canada, Moscow for Russia, etc. So we're doing event astrology based on the location and the time. So I've been doing this, and it really does. It does give you a lot of information. It doesn't tell you who is going to show up or particulars like that, but it will tell you the type of experience, the type of energy that you're going to be feeling, and it's very accurate. That's been my experience.
And I can attest to that. You did an astrology relationship reading for me back in, 2007. Yeah, 2007. And it was very, very accurate. I can't say more than that because I don't want to get into relationship stuff, but it was surprisingly accurate what you came up with in terms of how the relationship played out and what the issues were in it. And I'm very grateful for that because it was helpful for me to see what was going on. Folks, what we're going to do is something a little different. Now, Dave has a rule that during the first hour, you can't ask questions from the chat room. I'm going to suspend that for this first hour because we're going to be talking about world trends and events in 2018. And if you have a question to ask about that and how that might be reflected astrologically or not reflected, whatever your question is about what may happen in world events, go ahead and put it in the chat room and we'll do our best to answer it. And then when we go to the top of the hour, you can call in and we'll be willing to, hey, it's just me and Paul, so if it's astrological, if it's mediumship, if it's look at the probability field, or hey, I had a weird experience, or hey, this happened this year and you want to share something about your year, call in, because this is fun. This is our New Year's. This is our SOR, Spaced Out Radio, Cosmic Passport, New Year celebration-a-thon thingy. Words are good. But we are here for you, and at the top of the hour you can call in, and you can still answer questions, or you can ask questions in chat. So, Paul, when you were going over the 4 charts of the countries that I asked you to do, the U.S., Canada, Russia, and North Korea, what struck you as most interesting about the U.S. and Canada?
Well, the U.S. and Canada, they have their capital more or less in pretty close proximity, longitude and latitude-wise, and the charts are very similar. They have what they call a grand trine. That's an equilateral triangle between 3 points on the 360-degree zodiac, and that's a very lucky, a very favorable, a very advantageous aspect to have, and a lot of charts don't have it, but when they do, they're lucky. They seem to get a lot more done. They're more efficient. Things just fall into place and work. But what I noticed is that they both have a chart configuration. There's 7 chart types, and one of them is called a locomotive, and both of these charts have a locomotive with Mars as the lead planet. And the other 2 charts, incidentally, the Russia chart and the North Korea chart, also have the locomotive type of chart configuration with Mars as the lead planet. And what that means is that you've got like a freight train going down the tracks 75 miles an hour with 100 freight cars, and you can't stop it. And Mars is a planet of aggression, war, getting things done, taking action, taking the initiative, and it's very, very aggressive. So you've got Canada, the United States, North Korea, and Russia all running these fast locomotives with Mars as the lead planet. So you've got 4 really strong charts, and I don't think Canada is really in any kind of issue with the United States, or the United States is in any kind of issue with Canada. But I think Russia has some conflicts that aren't resolved with the United States and Canada, and North Korea does too. So you've got these freight train type of energies in 2018, and what that's going to do is it's like a game of chicken. Someone's got to stop or change direction or change course, or there's going to be head-on collisions.
So it could be
very tense, very tense, very aggressive.
Okay, so
Yes.
we had in Michigan, the song "The Wabash Cannonball," and it was about two trains coming straight at each other on the train tracks, and a giant conflagration, and everything just melted. Like, things, the metal melted, the windows melted, the people melted, and there's a song about it called "The Wabash Cannonball." So if we're going to head at each other like freight trains, everybody is playing chicken. Are there any mediating effects in the stars that would point to who might, step off the tracks at all? Or
unfortunately, there aren't in these charts. These charts are all very, very strong, very individuated charts that don't want to back down. That are very, very powerful. So I think you're going to have a lot of rhetoric, a lot of strong words going back and forth. There's also Mars and Jupiter are conjunct in the second house in the Canada chart and the United States chart, and the second house is what you value. And Mars is taking action and protecting yourself and bearing arms and being able to protect yourself in any situation. And Jupiter is taking initiative and doing things. So to me, it feels like there's going to be some kind of action or some kind of expression or release of this energy, like there's got to be some kind of result or action taken. I don't know if it's diplomatic, if it's military, but I would tend to think that Mars would be military, not diplomatic, because diplomatic would be more like Saturn, like signing a contract, coming to an agreement, getting the terms worked out. But Mars doesn't want to get the terms worked out. It just wants to take action. And it can be sometimes overreacting or acting hastily.
So that's really interesting, because I did a remote viewing. Someone on the channel asked me to remote view. And I can't remember if I did it on the air or off of air. Canada in the coming year, Canada in relationship to North Korea. And what I got was that if North Korea were to do any sort of attack, it would affect the West or Pacific Northwest, and Canada would be the major player in saying, "Oh no, you didn't." And we're down here in the U.S. thinking our friendly Canadian neighbors up north who are so peace-loving and socialist and kind of their own hippies. All the Canadians are laughing right now as I say this. I can't imagine that they would just be like, "Oh no, you didn't," and then go to war and just beat the crap out of North Korea. But that's what I saw in one of these probability fields. And so what you're saying is that is a possibility, that if North Korea were to do anything hinky, and it were to affect Canada anyway, this would be the year that you would see Canada take up arms.
Well, I'm apolitical. I don't have any position in this, but what I'm feeling is that all of these countries are running fast locomotives, and they're ready. They're ready to move, and they're armed, and they're ready to go. And this is a very, very tense, and it doesn't look like there's any de-escalation. It looks like maybe it's just a year of rhetoric, but people are going to be very nervous and very worried, because you've got people with live ammunition ready to go, and you don't know what's going to happen. If you wake up tomorrow, will there be a war? Is something going to happen? And I would say from reading a lot of astrology that it's the probability is higher than what they officially say when you read CNN or you read the articles about what people feel the probability is. It just feels like no one's backing down, and it's more of a collision course.
Yeah. Interesting. So Christopher asked a question, which I think you and I talked about. He didn't ask a question, but he said that he and somebody else on the list, it's sort of scrolled down, see a collapse for Russia. And you mentioned something about where the Russian moon is, and also financially something going on with Russia. Can you tell us about that and what that might mean?
Yes. Let me. I've got 4 charts on a little 13-inch screen, so I have to pull Russia up and get rid of Canada temporarily. Hold on. Okay. The moon is in the 10th house of, and the moon would be people, women in particular, housing, symbolic of housing, and it's going to oppose Saturn, Venus, and the Sun. It's going to be going. It moves 12 degrees in a. It moves 12 degrees in a year. So as it and the Saturn, Venus, and the Sun are in the 4th house of the home. So there's going to be people that don't have food, people that don't have medicine, that are not getting their needs met, and they're going to be very, very vocal or upset. What I would say is it's going to create protests or a lot of upset and drama internally in country. It's not like political outside the country. It's more like people making protests or saying they've got nothing to eat, or they've got no medical supplies, or they're not being taken care of. So I see a lot of turmoil in the home, and also that freight train is in the 3rd house, not the 2nd house, like in Canada and the U.S. The 3rd house is like issues like with infrastructure, issues in towns, problems with services, with the water supply, with the electrical grid, with distribution, stuff like that. So there are going to be issues, I think, in Russia that it's not working as well as they spin things that it is working perfectly. That there's going to be a lot of issues that come up that people weren't aware of, and I feel like the people are really, really tired and frustrated with some of these issues. So that it's going to be out of exasperation and feeling like they're not being heard, and that they have to do something to wake people up. And it's also an election year, so there may be a lot of protests or a lot of stuff going on because people aren't happy.
Okay. Do you see anything specific about Putin, or it's just a general that going into the election, people are saying, hey, this is not the rosy picture you painted. We still have a lot of issues, and we're not sure if these, and we're going to get up in arms.
Well, I see the moon will be opposite. The moon is going to be opposite Saturn, and it's going to be getting closer to opposite Venus and the Sun. Not exact, but that's a full moon. So you've got building tension of all the inequities, all the dissatisfied people that aren't getting their needs met. And usually the moon is women, and when it's in opposition to the Sun, women want equal rights, want to be heard, want to have issues resolved. So there's probably going to be a lot of vocal women that have issues to air during the election, and I think it's going to shock people some of the issues that they have because they haven't been aired before. So it's more like, well, where did this come from? But it's existing issues that have been there for a long time, but they haven't been presented publicly.
Cool. So you said something, and I saw something in the charts also about the moon. The moon appears to be on the midheaven for everyone, and it's in Gemini for the U.S., Canada, and Russia, and moving into Cancer for Korea. What does that do?
Well, the moon is in. Hold on a second. I just need to check. The moon is in Gemini, but the midheaven is in Cancer for the U.S., Canada, and Korea. But for Moscow, the midheaven is Gemini, not Cancer. Gemini is an air sign, and Gemini it's thinking, and it's got a high road and a low road, and it can sometimes be you don't know exactly what's going on or what people are really thinking or if what people are saying is really what they mean, and are they going to do everything they can or just a minimum. So there's a lot of concern about who to trust, who to believe, and what they really mean. And we're going into an election year in Russia, so I think there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of analysis, a lot of people put on the hot seat about what do you really mean, what are you really going to do, how is this really going to work, explain it more, and it's going to be a real grueling election. I don't think they've had an election that's been this grueling in Russia like the one that's going to be coming up. I don't think they're going to get a free ride. I think it's going to require a lot of answers, a lot of debating, and it's going to be different than the way it's been in the past.
All right, so Russia's got some stuff now to deal with that. Now, the other thing I noticed in the charts was that, you talked about the Grand Cardinal Trine or the Grand Trine. The U.S.
Yes.
and Canada can get a lot of work done. But then and that is at the top of the chart. But on the bottom, you have all these planets lined up. So the business that goes forward for the U.S. and Canada, this getting the work done, is it benefiting everyone or is it benefiting just a few, given how this chart looks to you?
It's benefiting. The Grand Trine is three points of an equilateral triangle, and it's the top of the chart, which is the beginning of the 10th house, the second house, and the 6th house or the 6th house cusp. It doesn't do anything for those planets in the 3rd and 4th house, and there are 5 of them. So Middle America is not getting anything. Boeing may get a big contract for a lot of planes, and people get work out of it, and it's business. But the people in Indiana, the people in Ohio, the people in Kentucky, there's a lot of people that don't get anything out of it. I see people not benefiting from it, and I see things like they cut the Meals on Wheels program out, and people that need like really basic services to survive are not getting the services. So there's a whole new class of poverty that's coming in, and they're not benefiting by this success. Certain people are making a lot of money. Certain corporations are benefiting. The new tax laws are favoring the corporations and the very wealthy, but there's a lot of people that are left behind that are going to be very vocal about it. So I see a lot of people crying foul, a lot of people unhappy, a lot of people feeling that they've been disserved. They haven't been given the basic needs. They've had the basic support systems that they needed taken away, and they don't know how they're going to manage, and a lot of that coming out in 2018.
So we'll have more political unrest about that. Now, what was interesting is that the success from the business with Canada was slightly different, in that you said that people in Canada would have a good business year, financial year, but that it was people doing business with their friends. So explain how that works for Canada.
Well, the U.S. isn't perfect either, but in the U.S., the Grand Trine is the second house to the sixth house to the midheaven or the top of the chart. In the Canada chart, it's the second house to the fifth house. The fifth house is your inner circle, your close friends, your business associates. And what I feel is in Canada, people will do business with their friends. And in the U.S., people will do business with the people that they can get the best deal or do the best business with. And it's going to be like friends doing business with friends in Canada and people doing business with the best person or the best corporation they can do business with in the States. It's going to be different because of the fifth house versus the sixth house for the way business is conducted. But they're both going to be successful. Everyone that is doing business is going to be making a lot of money, having a lot of work. So there's going to be some companies super busy, and then some people with those planets, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, the Sun, and Pluto in the third and fourth house that feel like they got left behind. People that are on disability, older people that need Meals on Wheels or need services delivered to their home, that all of a sudden the services were canceled to pay for a wall on the Mexican-U.S. border, and they don't have food. These people are going to be very distraught and upset and struggling. So there's inequities, but business and the economy and the stock market should be doing really good in the U.S. and Canada.
Okay, great. And then, so my next question is, I think we're coming up on midterm elections. If people who don't have their Meals on Wheels, the poorest are complaining, do you think that will make any major difference in the elections in November for the U.S., or no?
Well, yes. Here's the thing. You've got the moon, which is at 27 degrees Gemini, and it moves 12 degrees a year. So let's say right now it's about 28. It's 27 degrees Gemini, 58 minutes of 60 minutes. So by the 4th or 5th of January, it'll be at 28 degrees Gemini. So what I'm feeling is by March, the moon is going to be in Cancer. And when the moon's in Cancer, Cancer is a water sign. So this is going to be representative of women. The moon represents women and also children. They're going to be very vocal. They're going to be explaining their situation emotionally, how they feel, what's going on. And this is going to go on for the rest of the year during an election year. So you're going to have disenfranchised women, children, disabled people that are going to be emotionally pleading for help. And they're going to probably vote against the people that put all these programs in that took away their Meals on Wheels, took away their benefits, took away their safety net. And they're going to want people to come in that will support them and help them to just survive. So I think women could vote out a lot of people that are in power now that took away benefits from the people that needed them. So I think the female vote is going to be the swing vote of the 2018 election. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, women power. Women, that moon of, that represents women. That's what we got to do in the U.S. If we are feeling disenfranchised, let's stand up. Okay, some more questions for you. We have had in the past, in 2017, and I want to say, 2017, woohoo, we got through it. We had major hurricanes, we had fires, we didn't have the major earthquakes everybody's waiting for. But what do you see for the U.S. and Canada in that chart in terms of, environmental changes or what might happen with fire, with earthquake, with flood? Anything new, anything significant?
I'm seeing something in the southwest, from Texas to California, and possibly going down into Mexico. Some kind of major issue, and I'm not being shown if it's an earthquake, if it's fires, if it's flooding, but there's something that I see in the southwest area that looks very, very foreboding.
And how does that look in terms of planets? Is that the Sun, Saturn in a certain house, or aspecting against something?
You've got the Sun and Pluto in the fourth house in both the Canada and the U.S. chart, and the Sun is moving closer to Pluto. Pluto is endings and beginnings, doors opening, doors closing. The fourth house is the home, and as the Sun moves closer, it's a trigger for Pluto for something to change, and it may not change until they're exact, but it may start breaking down infrastructure or creating earth changes or plate shifts on some of the fault lines. And there's something that I saw happening in the Southwest that may be as significant as Katrina was to New Orleans, a very major problem. But I'm not being shown specifics, just that there's something that looks like it's going to happen that's going to be a great consequence.
Okay, so something in the Southwest. Do you think I am east enough of this thing in New Mexico, or do you think it would affect us here? We're pretty much on this. We're on the other side of the Continental Divide. So, is it everything west of the Continental Divide?
I feel it's near the Colorado River. Are you near the Colorado River?
Well, the Colorado River goes all the way into California, so it starts, starts up in the tributaries that feed into it start in Colorado, and they go through Utah and they go into Arizona, and then they cut into California. So you're looking. But they don't.
They wouldn't affect Madrid, New Mexico.
No, it's about the closest point to Colorado River is like 7 hours away.
But you're gonna miss it. You won't get to see it.
Okay, whatever it is, we won't get to see it. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, it's very, very dry here, and we don't have the snow in Colorado that we normally get. And so what that does, I'm just going to project from what's happening right now. Normally, the ranch that I lived up on Horsefly Mesa in Colorado would already have 5 feet of snow, maybe 6 as a base, maybe some 10, 15-foot drifts by this time of year. There is no snow whatsoever up there at 9,000 feet this year, which is, I lived there for 7, 8 years. Every single year, by the time we got to this week, there had been at least 2 or 3 snowstorms that would make it that deep, 6 foot deep. And what that means is that there's no water that's going to run off into the Colorado River unless wintertime catches up with snow. We haven't had precipitation here in New Mexico other than a small snowstorm about 6 weeks ago that hit parts of Santa Fe, parts of the Sangre de Cristos, I am really, really having to water my rose bushes in the middle of winter. Normally I don't have to do anything until spring when it gets warm. So it may be, because you're seeing something around the Colorado River, what you may be seeing is just really super severe drought that affects the water supply in California, because California, Nevada, I don't even know if parts of Arizona take water from the Colorado. Anybody who lives down there ought to know the Western States Compact. I think it is Nevada. Everybody downstream gets water from the Colorado River, not Colorado. So I don't know. Do you think it could just be drought and the water supply running out, which causes problems for LA and San Diego and other major cities? Could that
Well, if you don't have enough water to run things like dishwashers, washing machines, sewage systems, bathrooms, bathtubs, people are going to be in a real difficult position. And this isn't like 50 houses. This might be 6 million homes don't have water because there isn't enough water to go around. And I feel like that's part of it, that resources have been tapped out or there isn't enough to go around anymore.
Okay, really, really interesting there on what's going on with the Southwest and the Colorado River. I'm going to say, without the snowpack, there's no snow melt. Everybody in the Southwest and California and parts of Arizona, you're going to be missing some water from your water supply. And you've already had drought. I mean, that's part of what the fires were, was just extensive drought over a number of years. So the water table is already down. Even if that drought moves over to New Mexico and Colorado, if you don't have the Colorado River water, so interesting. Okay, is there anything else that you see in that chart? You were talking a bit about Korea and getting a sense that it's going to be hard for North Koreans this year. What do you see about that?
Well, what I'm seeing with North Korea is that they have a huge problem with lack of resources for the population, for people's homes. That most people don't have the bare necessities, don't have the food, don't have clothing, don't have heating, don't have basic things that we take for granted. And I feel like North Korea is concentrating on the military, on developing their nuclear program, but they're letting people starve to death. And they've got this freight train with Mars as the lead planet going down the track, saying, look at us, we're not going to put up with anything, we're ready to go to war, and we mean it. But people are starving. Millions of people don't have what they need. And I feel like that's going to continue. North Korea seems like it's in a very, very fragile situation, and they're going to probably be controlling it with using military force to keep the people in line. But the people are really struggling, and some are starving to death. It's a very bad situation.
He may be trying to reinforce, the leader may be trying to reinforce his authority because people may tend toward unrest because they don't have what they need.
Well, he's been brutal in keeping the people in line, that if they're not in line, he kills them. So there's a lot of fear, and it's a difficult situation, but I see a lot of people not having the basic needs, and that probably equates to people starving to death.
Yeah, not good. Anything else that you can think of that you noticed when you were doing these charts for the countries this year?
Well, the people are the people are very private. You're not really seeing everything. Most of the planets are in house 1 to 6, and there's only 2 in the North Korea chart, and also the other charts that are in house 7 to 12. So these are very private and very kind of hidden problems. I don't think most stuff is reported in North Korea or in Russia. So you've got a lot of problems that have been kept hidden, but I feel like they're going to be exposed in Russia. I don't feel they're going to be fully exposed right away in North Korea, but North Korea it's going to be obvious that they don't have enough food, that they don't have enough supplies for the people. But I don't think it's going to be reported 100%.
Okay, yeah, it usually isn't, and they've had famine before. Interesting. Wow, so if you're in the United States and you're just a typical old citizen and you listen to Spaced Out Radio, is there anything in the chart, as citizens of the U.S., are there things that we feel that are in tandem with what the country's going through, or do we just have our own stuff from our own charts?
Well, the country has a effect on everyone's personal chart. What you would want to do is overlay the country's chart for 2018 with your chart, with your planets on an outer wheel, and see if they make aspects or they line up with the planets in the 2018 chart, and the ones that do would be sensitively affected. And then go back to your original birth chart and see what house in your birth chart they're in, and then that'll tell you what area in your life it's going to be affected. So you would have to do a little bit of looking. Now I do charts privately for people on a consulting basis. So if anyone would like to have their chart cast and looked at against the 2018 chart in Canada or the United States or anywhere else, I can do it, and I can respond pretty quickly if you email me, and I'll give out my email information at some point during the show. So if anyone's interested, I'm happy to work with them individually.
Okay, very cool. And you can also do relationship charts. Do different years affect personal relationships? So, for example, you are interested in someone, and for whatever reason, the year that it is makes the relationship harder because of aspects that are happening.
There are times when people are pulling themselves inside out, or they're looking within to resolve personal issues inside themselves, and they're not really available to go forward with something new. So not every year has the same flavor or the same ability to enter into a new successful relationship. There are times when people are ready, but a lot of times people go through a divorce or into a bad relationship, and as soon as the divorce is over, they say, well, I'm single now. I can get into a relationship right away, but they haven't recovered, they haven't healed from all the trauma of the divorce or the ending of the relationship. They're not really ready, and they really can't go right into a relationship, but they think they can. And they end up with what they call a rebound relationship that doesn't work, or they end up with problems because they can't get close, or they can't open their heart, or they get afraid and run away because they can't be comfortable being close. So different years are very different in quality in relationships.
Okay, very good. Good to know. You know, we have a lot of people who are from Cascadia, which is Vancouver, Seattle, Western Washington, parts of Oregon, parts of British Columbia. And everybody is waiting to, they've been told that there's a big earthquake coming. Is there anything in the chart that would point to a big earthquake for Cascadia, which is northwestern U.S., southwestern Canada?
I would have to do a chart for that province or for that area to see. But I do feel when the moon is in Cancer, there's going to be more water issues. There could be a tsunami. There could be an earthquake or something, and a tsunami coming in at the Pacific coast.
Okay, so possible earthquake and tsunami. And then, you know, if we have time, I don't know how long it takes you to run one of those, we might look at that, because that's a big thing on folks' minds up there in Cascadia, and a lot of our listeners are from Cascadia. So I guess I just have a few more questions. Let's see. In terms of what we're going to do next, are we going to run astrology charts for people, or are we? What can we do for people in the next hour? What do you want to do?
Well, we can do. We could do readings of any questions the person might have for 2018, and they could be about how their business is going to go, if they should change jobs, about their relationship or marriage, or if they're in school, how they're going to do in exams, or any question they might have, health questions. I'm not a doctor or Western medical practitioner, so I can't really give medical advice, but I can look at things energetically, and I can see if you've got a blocked chakra or an area needs more energy. And I always tell people, continue to go to your doctor and continue the treatment that you've been on. But I look at the energy and the work I do as complementary, but not a substitute for Western medical care. So again, I'm not a doctor, and I can't give diagnosis or medical care, but I can do. I can look at you energetically and tell you where I see the energy slower or not working quite right, and I do work to clear and balance people's energy. If you're interested.
Can we do some of that? And I was thinking that maybe we could look at some of the things that happened in 2017, you know, where people felt they were stuck or felt they got into issues, and maybe do some clearing work. So you go into the new year kind of clear and clean, and with a kind of refreshed, brightened up energy.
I can do that with individuals, and it would probably take a couple of minutes to do, but it's best to do with the person on the phone. So if they ask to look at a certain area, and I start working on it, and I have a question, or I want to ask them one more thing, they're on the phone, and we can complete it without them having to go back in the chat room, and then you start over again at a later point. It's better on the phone if they can call in.
Okay, so if you want a clearing, if we find, if you really want to look at what's going on, or maybe see where you're blocked and want to move forward into 2018 a little cleaner and clearer energetically, call in. The number is 505-908-9558. If you have already friended me on Skype, it is Spirit for Peace, Spirit FORPEACE. You can go ahead and Skype me, and and we can look at things that happened in 2017. I tend to be, this is the time of year that I review, so I get a little down because I review what happened, and I'm like, why did I do that? What was up with that? I'm old enough to know better than that. I tend to be a little hard on myself, a little self-critical. So I always need clearing at the end of the year because I'm being self-critical. But you may have other things. You may have wanted to move forward from 2016 to 2017 and felt like you were hampered. That could be an energetic issue. You may have plans for 2018. We'll look at those and we'll see what comes up. But go ahead after the break and feel free to call in 505-908-9558. I'm here with Paul Simons. And if they want to schedule something with you, Paul, how did they do that?
Just email me at paul@mediumpaul.com, paul@mediumpaul.com, and I'll get back within a day, and we can schedule something. I need to know what you want to do or what you have in mind so I know approximately how much time or what type of work it is, and I can ask you if you inquire or you want to discuss it on the phone. Just give me your phone number and when's a good time to call, and your time zone too, because I'm in Brazil, and right now, for people's information, it's about 4 in the morning, my time. It's
Great.
5 hours later.
Paul, I'm going to have to cut you off because we got to go to break, but you can call him, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey space travelers, it's Joe Roop, your host of Spaced Out Saturdays. Come join me as we explore the realms of the paranormal, the esoteric, and everything in between every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. You know the truth is out there. Don't get caught sleepwalking. Come join Spaced Out Saturdays. That's every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, right here on spacedoutradio.com.
365 days a year, we're in the field, investigating UFO sightings, talking to alien abductees, and visiting secret military locations like Area 51. We're UFO Seekers, official partner of Spaced Out Radio. Follow our daily search for the truth at ufoseekers.com or like us on social media. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
From coast to coast to coast, Blacklight Uncharted is taking on the paranormal across Canada. From ghostly hauntings to the UFOs flying above in conjunction with MUFON Canada, we're closely investigating what's going on in the northern skies and checking out the apparitions that walk among us. Check out our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com. We want to know your thoughts, we want to hear your experiences, and we want you to share your stories. The answers are out there, and we intend to find them.
Would you like to become one of our space travelers? All you have to do is click on the Space Travelers icon at spacedoutradio.com. For only $5 a month, you can get access to some great prizes, as well as private monthly shows, newsletters, and a members-only section on our website. Become a space traveler today.
It's paranormal news at its finest. Welcome to The Encounter. At spacedoutradio.com, The Encounter Online is SOR's trusted news source for everything weird and strange going on around the world. This is news editor Eric Markham. Our team of journalists are scouring the planet for those strange stories that rarely make the mainstream. No fear-mongering or fake news here. Head over to spacedoutradio.com and encounter The Encounter.
Want to learn more about aliens, cover-ups, conspiracies, cryptids, and the paranormal? All you have to do is tune in S4 as we take over Spaced Out Radio Night, starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, each and every Saturday night, right after Spaced Out Saturdays. Hi there, this is Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. Join me, Corey Ruiz, and friends as we discuss the hot topics of the night. It's fun, entertaining, and as dark as the night. Find us at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
There's a lot of strange going on in this world, and we can help you find out what's going on with you. Paranormal? Cryptids? UFOs in the sky? Aliens in your bedroom tickling your toes? We have the investigators you need to find out the answers you deserve. All you have to do is head to spacedoutradio.com. Your information is 100% confidential. The SOR Sightlines Report. It's free, and we're here to help.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Don't have time to listen to Spaced Out Radio live? Wherever you are, the car, the office, the shower, or even if you're traveling, we're right here for you. Each Spaced Out Radio show can be found on iTunes, TuneIn, and on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the perfect way for you to catch up on our shows. For more information, just head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, and tune in to us today.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a
Over Terrafly runway heading, runway 5. Clear for takeoff.
From Psychic Sundays to ET Contact and everything in between, this is Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with host Elizabeth Anglin.
Check it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'd be great. So, guys, smoke now.
You can connect with Elizabeth on Skype at 505-908-9558 and Spirit for Peace. Follow Liz.
So much for being here on New Year's Eve 2017 going into 2018. Woohoo! We made it another year. And many of you have been here on the show. And if you are one of our callers who has called in, thank you so much for calling in. You can call in. Just let me get through these announcements first. And if you have called in, please mute yourself because I can hear you. We are coming to you live from Madrid. For all of you listening from around North America and the world, I want to welcome you to the show. Everybody at WQEE 99 Rock the Key in Noonan, Georgia, at spacedoutradio.com on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and on the Fringe.fm. We also want to thank Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy, that guitar god who creates the music that makes Spaced Out Radio Weekend rock. Thank you, Ron. We so love that you do that for us. If you are online, check us out on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like at Spaced Out Radio. On Facebook, you can call me or follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show, or tune us in on TuneIn. And download our shows from iTunes. We are also on RadioGuide.fm, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And of course, our website is spacedoutradio.com. Again, if you're calling in, please turn off your radio because it does cause feedback in my headset. And mute yourself while I'm talking or someone else is talking. Thank you so much. If you want to take part in the show, you will have to call in tonight. The number is 505-908-9558. Or you can ask questions in one of our chat rooms on Spreaker or in the chat room on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club. If you head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, for just $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. We offer some pretty decent stuff for you, our valued listener there, and it's our opportunity to give back to you. Please check out our news section, The Encounter, that deals with everything paranormal, courtesy of our editor, Eric Markham. And you can check out Dave Scott's latest blog there as well. Now, if you've had an experience you can't explain, fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our researchers are ready to help you find out what's going on. And again, I want to give a big thanks to everyone listening in on WQEE 99 Rock the Key, to the Spaced Out Radio family way down in Noonan, Georgia. Thank you for sharing your Sunday night with us. Renegade Talk Radio out of Las Vegas. We are live in Sin City. Thank you for listening with us. The United Public Radio Network on 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and their listeners from over 160 countries and around the world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Everybody in the chat rooms, everybody on fringe.fm. You guys are awesome. And dang, we got a lot of callers tonight. And I'm happy that you're all here. But before we start, well, I just have to call out that first we're going to go to Amanda. And if you have called in, take yourself off mute. If you're Paul, take yourself off mute. And Amanda, how you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Now, you have a new job? Are you this Amanda with a new job?
Yeah, well, I took a course, and now it's something that I want to do, which ironically was one of the two questions that I actually had. So I just finished taking the end-of-life doula course, or the other word is death doula, but it's not a very welcomed word in the Western culture yet. So I'm sticking with end-of-life doula, but I wanted to ask where that's going to take me in 2018, and then I have a second question after that.
Okay, so where's it going to take you? Okay, what'd you get?
Okay, well, what I'm getting is that you're going to start working with somebody. I feel it's going to be one-on-one, or you're going to have somebody that you work with, and you're going to then go work with somebody else. But I feel like you're going to be providing service to more than one client. What type of program is it? Is it a program where you work one-on-one, or you work with a number of people?
We work with a client, and if they choose to, we also work with their family being involved as well. But the whole focus is for that client who's being diagnosed with either a possible terminal illness or a terminal illness.
So it's more like you're the hospice person, and you deal with the client and their family and help them with that stage of their illness.
Yeah, we're there mostly for support and advocacy more than anything. We don't take over from doctors or nurses in any way.
Now, would you have possibly 2 or 3 clients that you go in and you see them but you're not the caregiver that's living in their house or there like 10 hours a day. You come in and you work with them, but they have a nurse, a visiting nurse, or they have other people that come in and do different things. So you're not there like every day, Monday to Friday, or whatever the work week is, every week, the same person. Because I see you handling like what I would call a case book. Like you have certain people you're working with and their families, and you schedule when's a good time for them and when to see them, and you go from person to person to person, and you fill out your week. You're not just working on one case 5 days a week.
No, you're right in how you see it. Yeah.
And I see you being very helpful. A lot of these people, they've never been through this experience before, and they don't know what to do. It's uncharted water, and you're giving them the support to just be able to feel unparalyzed. They feel paralyzed, like they don't know what to do, what they need to do, and where to go get it or how to do it. And I feel like you're giving them a lot of information. You're also preparing them for things that they maybe didn't want to be prepared for or didn't want to deal with, and they couldn't prepare without you. I feel it's more like coaching and preparing, but it seems like the family is more work than the client. That the client already knows to some degree where they're at or what's going on or how they're feeling or what the prognosis is in some cases, but the family doesn't always accept it. I feel like it's more work with the family than with the client sometimes.
It hasn't happened for me yet. I haven't gotten a client yet, but I very much suspect that is incredibly correct, especially if the client is going against what their family thinks that they should do. That it makes it a lot more work, yeah.
Well, I've seen it where the family doesn't give the person permission to prepare to transition, and the person's in terrible pain, but they stay a month or 3 months longer than they maybe would have if they'd been given permission, and the family just makes them just cannot accept the situation, and the person seems to, from my point of view, suffer a lot more, but every case is different.
I agree with you on that too. I've seen that happen. Yeah. So
it's a difficult thing, but I feel like you're going to be good at this. You've got a real warm heart, a kind nature, and people trust you. And I feel like you're going to be really, really comforting, and you're going to feel good about helping these people because they need help.
They do. Yep. They definitely do. You're making me tear up a little bit, actually.
No, I don't mean to do that, but I just want you to know that you're going to be very valuable and make a big difference.
Good. That's the whole intent. That is the whole intent.
Will this be
okay?
Good
So
for
then
her?
my second.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it going to be good for her because you're changing from one? Are you letting go of your other job and doing just this, Amanda?
No, I'm holding on to my other job for now because, like everybody else, I need an income. But eventually, this is something that I'd prefer to be doing.
Okay.
Over my other job. I love my job, but I want to transition.
Okay. So, do you think can I ask for you? Because I'm really curious whether or not she would be able to transition this year, or will it take a little longer?
Okay, I'm going to look January, February, March, April. I feel you could transition in April.
Okay.
But you need to first kind of get into it and see how it's going and have a little history or some actual time in the job before you transition fully.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. it is something that you need to transition into. You can't just whip into it. That's not something you can just jump into the water and do. I'm already getting some experience at work right now with one of my clients who is palliative. So some of the stuff that I was taught to do, I've already started to do with him. So I'm kind of getting a sense for it. Unfortunately, we have a lot of clients die in my field of work. But now I can do more for them than I used to be able to do, which is good.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so good.
So I have a quick second question, if possible.
It's fine with me. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I was getting music there. So
well, that's
going on.
I mute myself, but you guys can hear it when the phone rings. So if you hear
that's
ding,
funny.
ding, ding, it's the Skype phone ringing, and I'm adding someone to our call. So yeah.
Okay, that was funny. So second question, Paul, is I had a spirit guide just over a year ago now named Cassandra that popped up for me for a very short amount of time. That's the only time I've ever actually been able to speak to my spirit guide. So I'm kind of wondering if she's ever going to pop back in again.
She is. I feel like she came in, and then you were shifting, or your energy was changing, and she kind of stepped out, and she's going to come back to continue working with you. But I feel like it's going to be this year, 2018. Let me look at when. Not in January, not in February, not in March, not in April, May. It looks like May she'll be back.
Okay. I miss her. She was a cool cat.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah, she's
the only one I've ever spoken to, but I always really liked her. So
yeah,
felt less lonely with her around.
She's multi-dimensional, and she works with multiple people at the same time. And I feel like she could be working with you now, but she's waiting for you to be at a certain dimensional level or at a certain place energetically, and then she's going to come back in.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome. Thanks
okay,
for
you
calling.
guys have a great New Year's. Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Big hugs. So the person who came in at the top of the hour, not the one that came in at 11:15 my time, who is not Christopher, it is your turn. Please speak up. Who do we have?
Hi, this is Angel.
Angel, hi. How are you? Merry Happy New Year.
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yes,
Hi,
Happy
Angel.
New Year. Hi, Paul.
So
If I give you my birthday, can you just do a general reading?
Well,
I don't need your birthday to do a general reading. If I'm going to construct a chart, I do, but I can just do it off your voice. Do you want me to do just a general reading for today or for this year, or what do you have in mind?
For the year, that'd be good. I mean, I know that time is limited, but it'd be nice to have something to a little more detail.
Okay, well, what I'm getting right now is that you've got some things to say to family members that you've bit your tongue or you haven't said, that it's important to speak and to be heard. I don't feel that you've been fully heard by your family. Is that correct?
I've been told that many times now.
What I'm feeling is and I'm looking at it from an energetic point of view, not a medical point of view. And I'm seeing some shadows around your neck and your throat chakra. Like you want to say things, but people either are dismissive, they don't listen to you, or they don't have time, or you've got some things to say and you feel you haven't been heard. And what you may want to do is write out what you have to say, whether you actually give it to the person. Just writing it out will be like therapeutic and will help to release internalized frustration that you couldn't really express yourself, or you weren't heard. It feels to me like you sometimes have trouble with your voice. Do you ever get laryngitis or have problems with your throat or your voice box or anything with that area?
Yeah, I'll start to talk and I get choked up.
It just feels like there's some internalized stuff from people not listening to you that you need to get out, and you don't need to spend any money or to go see a lot of people to do it. You just need to write what you have to say to the people, even if you don't give it to them. It's best if you can give it to them, but just writing it out will help. And it will help you to release it so it doesn't stay internalized in your throat. Because I can feel the pressure and I can see a shadow where it is. So that would really help you, and you would actually feel like you have more energy, feel younger, feel more vitalized, and be able to focus on the other things that are important to you and not be being fatigued or tired out by this frustration with people that didn't listen to you. So I would encourage you to do it, and you don't have to share it. If it's something like you've got an elderly parent and you're afraid if you sent them some letter that was very critical or wasn't very easy for them to read, they'd get upset. Maybe you don't send it to them. Maybe you just write it out and you put it in a desk drawer because you don't want to upset them, but you need to just express your thoughts. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's more like for you than necessarily for them.
Yeah, I totally understand. I've had 3 people pass, and there was some disputes before they died, and we didn't reconcile, but I've been trying to reconcile just, out loud here in the house and stuff like that. You actually said that to me like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so that's pretty good that you keep pulling that up with me. So that's,
I don't even remember what I say from each time I'm on the show or when I work with different people, because I channel it. So it's not me. It's spirit guides coming through, giving me the information. And then after you get off the phone, it's like the connection is disconnected and I don't remember it. So I just tell you what I'm given. I'm just a channel. I'm not any different than you or anyone else, but I get information from spirit guides, so I'm just passing on the information to you.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I'm saying. See, my throat's doing it again. That's what I'm saying is that it must be a very important message to me to be told that. If you can relay that again to me after so many weeks and not know that you talked to me about it before. So, remember.
Well, I feel you'll feel better. I want, as a medium, I want all the people I work with to feel their best, and I feel this will make you feel better, and you'll have more energy, and the quality of your life will be enhanced by doing this. So I would encourage it just because I think it'll be really good for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Angel. It was so good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in. Have a great new year. And
thank you.
Yeah, it'll be good. I almost started laughing because I talked with Angel a little bit earlier this month, and it was like you said some of the things that I said to her, but you said them. So again, it's sort of like the messages are the messages are the messages when it comes to this. All right, we had somebody who called in at 15 after the hour. I didn't get a chance to check your number, but if you know who you are, you can speak up now. Or forever.
Yeah, my name's Robin.
Robin, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Hi, Robin.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'd like to know, what lies for me in 2018.
Okay, you want to know, like, the main things that are going to happen, or what's significant for you in 2018?
Yeah.
Okay,
there's something you've been preparing for that you want to do, and it's taking several steps to get there, and I feel like you're going to get the last one or two steps done and actually be able to move forward with this dream or this goal that's been somewhat elusive. It's taken time to get there, and I'm not being shown what it is, but it seems like multiple steps to accomplish it. Is that true? There's something you're working on, but it's not something you can do like in the same week. It's like taking time to get there, and you're going to complete the steps and be able to do it, and it's going to be successful.
And I have one more question.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, also, of course, I love my family, but I also count my friends as family, and I'd like to know why that is.
Why you count your friends as family? I feel that your friends are very, very connected to you, and they're not just casual acquaintances. That the people that you consider your friends, there's a deep bond, and the reason you feel like they're family is that you've had a past life connection with them, that there's more to it than just this individual incarnation, this individual life. And you've known them before, and you continue to interact with them, and they interact with you life after life after life. And there's a familiarity with them that you have, and that's why it feels so strong. Usually family have a special bond because it's from birth to death. Family, you can't you can't lose. They're always there your whole life. But these friends, they have a bond that's been from other lives, so it's similar, and that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Robin, what I get for you is I think that your friends are going to recognize this year, especially, just how valuable a friend you are. I see a lot more gold light around friendships for you, especially at the beginning of the year. That just came up as he was talking, so I thought I'd share that with you. And that you know your friends are going to be very, very grateful for you during this year. So that's a good thing. It'll be a good year.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Robin. Thanks for calling in. Hey, we have some questions from the SOR Space Travelers chat room that came in before our last caller called in. We have a question from Vivian in SOR Space Travelers. She says, Paul, she's been receiving some extremely strong messages from God and her guardian spirits, and she wants to know what you feel she should do about those messages.
Okay. What I'm getting is there's an area that she's worked on and an area that she's put off or she hasn't worked on, and it needs a lot of attention. And she didn't give me a specific question like what area or what she wanted me to look at. But what I'm getting is that something she's moved on and something she hasn't. She needs to move on the things that she hasn't addressed yet.
Okay. So, Vivian, I'm taking a guess about what you have moved on or what you've been thinking about. And I think if you don't understand what he means, you can write again in the SOR Space Travelers chat room and be a little bit more specific with your question. And that'll be helpful so he can target each thing individually or target your more specific question. And I know you said that you had to leave some things out, but I think you got it. Do you think she's got it? I think she's got it, Paul, right?
I think so, but can she reply or let me know if there's something else that she wants to ask if we didn't address everything? Because we have time and I want to make sure I answered her question completely.
Yeah, you can. So yeah, just let him know if it's good. And then we have one more question from the SOR Space Travelers chat room. Michael wants to know what you see in 2018 for Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? Well,
yep.
I see him having a lot of initiatives and some of them he's able to complete, but a lot of them they're very difficult to get executed, or that there's too much bureaucracy. And I see him having a lot of projects, like if there are 5 phases, they're in phase 1 or phase 2 in 2018, and they're not complete. And maybe 2 or 3 he actually starts and finishes, but all the others are still in process. To me, it feels like it's a 4-year presidency. The first year was getting set up or getting organized and getting started. And the second year, it's getting a lot of initiatives going. And then the third year and fourth year are finishing or wrapping up some of the initiatives that he started, because they take a lot of work and a lot of time, and they go through a lot of people to get completed. And I see him really digging in and having a lot of projects in the works, but not that many completed in 2018. Any other question from him?
Michael, if you have another question, please let us know. And we have someone on the line. I think it's 870 or 807. If you've got a number that starts with an 8, it's your turn. Go ahead and chime in.
That's Elizabeth. That's 870. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Who's this?
This is Lynn Dorbun. How are you?
I am doing great. Happy New Year's. It's so good to hear your voice. I see you in the chat room all the time, and I don't always hear your voice. So, thanks for being here.
Happy New Year to you and yours and everybody else who's listening tonight.
Yeah. So what's up? What's going on? What do you want to ask about?
Well, kind of a long story. Let me give you a little bit of history. 2 years ago this month, I went down to New Orleans for the first time in many years. And ended up doing some ghost hunting, of course, being a paranormal investigator. And had some pretty good success. Later, when I went back in February, this coming February will be 2 years ago, I went back for an investigation and went by Marie Laveau's tomb. And remember, I say tomb because you don't have graves in New Orleans because of the water table is too high, or should I say the land is too low.
Yes.
And she was a former, a lot of people may not know this, she was a former hairdresser. So what I left to honor her was the band holding my ponytail in place. and I left it at her tomb and asked for permission to ghost hunt in the New Orleans area without her getting upset or, having any feedback from her. So I received that permission apparently because I had no problem ghost hunting there, and was actually back in July. I was investigating the Jackson Hotel, which is also very haunted down there. And anyway, I haven't had any problem with her. But tonight's a little bit freaky. I was watching CNN, and they were down in New Orleans for New Year's. I am drinking rum from New Orleans that was made in New Orleans. And several nights ago, I had a visit from Marie Laveau. This is a full color. I'm not sure if it was a dream or it was an experience, an out-of-body experience. But I was back in New Orleans and went to this place that people worship Marie Laveau. And not having any troubles with her, I went in there, talked to a few people, and, everything was cool. Later on, however, some people were sent after me, and from what I gathered, they killed me. And in the afterlife, I met Marie Laveau. And she reaches her hand into my chest, rips out my soul, looks me in the eye, and says, "Now you know what I can do to you." And, of course, I woke up immediately, all hurting in almost every body part. It was rather miserable. I'm still recovering from a knee replacement surgery, and I'm used to the legs hurting, but not this. After this, I was hurting all over. And since then, I've had a slight contact with her. Apparently, she is demanding that if I go back to New Orleans, that I not only give the hairband that holds my ponytail, she wants me to get down on my knees in front of her tomb and have somebody cut off my entire ponytail and leave that as an honor to her. And that's if I want to get anything done investigating New Orleans.
I wouldn't do it because in the Apaches out here, if you're going to do any sort of nasty witchcraft to anybody, you take their hair. So you don't even leave hair in your hairbrush. And you basically protect your hair at all costs, no matter what you do. The other thing is, I wouldn't give her the power. So what do you think, Paul?
I don't feel it necessarily was her asking. I feel it was a negative entity maybe impostering her or wanting you to do this to get into your energy or manipulate you. And I do clearing work on people. If you'd like, I could do a quick clearing on you. It would take about 30 seconds to a minute. And I feel like there's some energy from some other spirit, not from her, but some other spirit that's either impostering her or manipulating you or trying to manipulate you that should be cleared off of you. You haven't done anything wrong, and you never did anything wrong, but I feel that there's a spirit there trying to take advantage of you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't give any spirit that power, especially, when somebody is trying to do you harm, when you're not expecting it, they can fool you once and it kind of hurts you, right? Like, you woke up in pain. But once you know how to clear and once you really know how to protect yourself, and I'm not saying that you don't, because I know you go into a lot of paranormal places, But even the apparently biggest, baddest, nastiest really doesn't have any power that you don't give them. And if you clear, after the first time, it's like, oops, I wasn't paying attention. Oh, they got me. But once you clear and protect yourself and re-protect yourself, it's like you program your system so that's not an issue again. Everybody has personal serenity, and in my opinion is everybody can go anywhere that they want to go. Just pay attention to where you're going, and if you get fooled or if you get tripped up or if you get attacked, you pick yourself up and you start over again with more protection and with more clearing. But Paul, I'm sorry I just broke in for that, but Paul, if you're going to clear him, Len, do you want to be cleared?
Oh, yes, you have my permission to do so.
Okay.
Okay. I'm clearing you now. I don't know if you're sensitive. Can you feel the energies moving?
I feel something going on in my head.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make holographic duplicates of you and place them all across the world. And now I'm placing different sacred geometry over, under, around you. And I'm cloaking you and making you holographically invisible in the spirit realms, in matter, antimatter, and all alternate realities now. If you get up or you take a few steps, do you feel clearer or lighter or like there's been a shift or something's gone?
I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded. Let me get up out of my chair.
Sometimes I ground people after I do this because it clears so much off of them that they almost get vertigo. So I'm going to just ground you a little bit into the earth, or kind of get you more seated in your physical body. Does that feel better?
Actually, I do.
There was something trying to take advantage of you, sir, that shouldn't have done that, in my opinion. I believe everyone is a sovereign soul and no one should infringe on someone else's space or their right as a soul. And I feel like somebody or a spirit was trying to take advantage of you, but that's been cleared.
Any idea who or what it was?
I feel it was opportunistic. A soul or a spirit that was down in New Orleans that was just trying to manipulate you. It wasn't anything connected to you per se, just opportunist.
I understand. Because I ran into plenty of spirits when I was down in New Orleans. Talked to several at the Andrew Jackson Hotel. Spoke to several, including on one called Ed Lynch. When I was in the Wax Museum down there, I was the last paranormal investigator allowed in that museum. In fact, was locked in the museum by myself for 2.5 hours in the museum proper before it was torn down. In fact, that weekend that I was there.
That's funny. That name gives me a headache. Like that situation gives me a headache. What do you see about that, Paul?
I feel there were spirits in the different wax sculptures in that museum that were like locked in the different statues, and there's just a bad energy about it. Did you feel that too?
Well, when I was there, oh yeah, I knew I was never alone. In fact, I had my communications device on the entire 2.5 hours, and I was constantly talking into it, or one of the spirits was talking to me. In particular, Ed Lynch had been following me around when there was other people there and talked to me and two others. One spirit told one woman who was there with her protective spirit that she had to go outside the room we were in. And after about 15, 20 minutes of the lady being out of the room we were in, she was out in a bigger room by herself, a friend of hers said, can she come back in? And the spirit answered, she can come back in, but he has to stay outside. Talking about her protective spirit.
That's just plain wrong, because if you want your protection with you, you don't give away your protection and go in. It would be like a person going to battle with a bulletproof vest and being told, if you want to go into this battle, you got to take off your bulletproof vest. That's crazy.
Yeah, and also you guys are asking for permission from the spirits. As a spirit medium, I hate to say it, I'm congenial and I am open to receiving messages, and I don't taunt any spirits or do anything like that. But I don't ask them for permission about where I can be and what I can do, because I am a sovereign person and they don't have any power over me. So I think you're trying to be a little bit too PC with the spirits. You don't have to ask them permission for anything. And you don't have to leave your protection behind or do anything like that. You're going to be okay as long as you are respectful, but you're not a doormat. It sounds like that. Sorry if I'm being hypercritical, but that's a little concerning to me. I feel like you've given them an in to kind of mess around with you, because you're asking for permission. You're being really, really, really kind. And they're going, oh, look, a doormat. No, that's not how mediumship, and that's not how this actually works. You're never a doormat. You have to stand in your power. It's like working with a big horse. If you say, excuse me, horse, can I pull you over here? And the horse says, no, you can't, because I want to go eat grass. It's like, no. We're going over here now. If you want to talk to me, I'm going to be over here in this corner. So that's my thought about what you just said. I'm going to answer this call. Len, are you upset with me? Have I offended you? Are you still around?
I'm still around, and I'm not offended. I was just listening. You can't learn anything unless you listen. So that's what I was doing until you were talking.
Well, I don't know. What do you think of my opinion? Is it a stupid opinion? Good opinion? Are you going to try it? Don't be so nice.
Well, maybe she did. Whoever the spirit was asking for respect. And one thing I did do that was maybe not been very nice, last weekend I talked about several of my experiences in the paranormal. I never mentioned what I had done in New Orleans, or as they say, New Orleans. So I never mentioned, Marie Laveau or any of the Andrew Jackson Hotel or the Wax Museum. I never talked about that. And it was immediately after that when I had the spirit coming into me demanding respect.
Yeah.
And you said the word, you said something earlier that the words Ed Lynch gave you a headache?
Yeah, as soon as you started talking about that place in Ed Lynch, I got a headache. And I think that I feel like somebody put a binding spell on that place, and the spirits were frustrated that they were stuck there, or they were stuck in the place, stuck in the things, and they were frustrated, upset, and were trying to figure out. They just have become, somebody's already done something in that place that didn't help them move on, but they're all stuck there, so they're kind of, and so. I don't think people, they can ask for respect, but then there's also, respect is not manipulation. Like, respect is, it's a negotiation. I won't share your name, or I won't, do this, or I won't do that, but it's not, I'll give you my hair. And I'll give you, it's more, okay, what would be the respect you'd give somebody in just a regular meeting, and what would you expect somebody to ask of you? It should be something normal that they ask you for respect, like a thank you very much, and yes, I won't tell anybody about this conversation. But
hey Lynn, Lynn, Christopher wants to know if you would stay in the chat room or you would stay on the line. He wants to talk to you after he asks his question.
You talking to me?
Yeah,
sure,
you
I'll
and-
stay on the line.
Yeah. Okay. So don't hang up. He's gonna talk to you on Skype. And
Elizabeth, hang on just a second. One thing, I don't know if you picked it up earlier when I said it. When I investigated the Wax Museum was getting torn down, and all the wax figures were sold. I investigated on a Thursday night, and they started tearing the place down on Monday morning, and they were selling the wax figures that day.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Somebody had gone in there and done something to those spirits already. I see them like congregated in that area. Paul, were they connected to the wax figures or were they connected to the place?
I feel like people trapped spirits in the wax statues or wax figures. Like they were actually trapped there, and they weren't there voluntarily. It was like binding spells or binding work. To me, it's negative work to do that, because souls are supposed to be able to continue to go on their way and develop and not be trapped anywhere.
And you want to, and if you're doing that, you don't bind them, but if you're going to send a soul on elsewhere, you want to send it to its most right and perfect place. If it's a ghost and it hasn't gone into the spirit realm and had its life review, you can have angels come and pick it up and take it on to the spirit realm if it's never gone and had its life review because they got mad at God or they felt like they were going to go to hell because they believed in hell or something. But binding them in a place or hurting them is to me, again, like Paul, I don't think that that's a kind thing to do, and it causes a lot of frustration and anger, and it causes problems for people who come around after you if you do that thing. You have to be very high-minded and compassionate with all beings, and even demons and satanic beings, if they go on to their most right and perfect place and they're updated and educated and informed and helped to see the light, they can have a situation where they grow tremendously from having come in contact with you. But if you look at them and go, oh, you're a demon or you're bad, and you punish them, then that doesn't do anything but reinforce the worldview that people are bad and negative, and you should just be crap to everybody. So I don't know, Paul, what do you think?
I agree, and my position is to never try to bind a spirit or keep a spirit in one place, to assist a spirit in going into the light or in being able to get free if it's earthbound, but not to trap it or bind it.
Len, what do you think?
Well, one other thing about Ed Lynch, there was a guy that was in there with me. He was kind of almost a non-believer, and he had a K2 meter in his hand, and no matter where he pointed that K2 meter, it would not light up, but when he held it close to him, it lit up. Yeah. And finally, he said something to me, and I said, what is your name, by the way? He said Jason. I said, okay. Josh. And I said, okay, who is hanging around Josh? And a female voice came on there immediately and said, Ed is. I said, Ed, where are you standing? And he said, by Josh. Poor Josh almost ran out of the room. But he realized the big room he would go into had no lighting whatsoever. He had no flashlight. And he was going to have to find a staircase, which was also not lit, and run down that staircase to find anybody.
Well,
Ed was trying.
Yeah, Ed was freaking him out.
Yes, he was.
it's hard to do this work if you're going to freak out about it, because you leave yourself open to being manipulated in very easy ways. So I'm kind of laughing, but yeah, I don't think I'd, I wouldn't want to be in the vicinity of Ed for very long, because he gives me a headache. Just talking about him, it's like, ow, stop that, Ed. Please.
So Ed was not a good spirit at all, and they've been trapped. Now, some of the wax museums they had, wax figures they had there were the old Universal horror characters. The creature from the Bright Lagoon, Frankenstein, Dracula. Those figures, the Mummy.
Yeah. Somebody had a dark twist to him. And
I was in there for 2.5 hours alone in the dark.
Wow. Well,
nothing but an IR light and a full spectrum camera.
I'm glad that you made it out, and I'm glad that nothing worse happened to you than this being coming back to you. Not that generally anything does, but sometimes, it's happened in the paranormal. And I'm glad that you're here, and you're here with us. I'm going to have to cut you off, though, because we do have to go on break. I'll be giving out Paul Simons' information again. If you want to call in after the top of the hour, it's 505-908-9558. Len, thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you in the break for a little bit. But until then, enjoy our next break commercial material. Here it is.
Thank you very much for talking to me.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
There's stories, then there's the truth. Do any of us really trust the news anymore? This is Jamie Sexton, owner of Rebel Planet News. The third Thursday of every month, I appear on spacedoutradio.com to bring you the truth you deserve, without mainstream media lies or alternative media fear-mongering. We'll get to the heart of the story and deliver the truth you're seeking. So come join us here for the Rebel Planet at spacedoutradio.com.
Not ready for bed on Saturday night? Right after Spaced Out Saturdays, hop on over to S4 with Corey Ruiz and me, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. With S4, there are no limits to what we try and uncover. From government conspiracies to helping clean up the paranormal, no topic is safe on S4. We get to the heart of the matter, of the subjects you want to learn more about. So tune in on S4 starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4 Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com to the final Monday of every month from Butch Witkowski's Strange Days.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for the Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories, from alien encounters to the latest conspiracies. You won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
There's a lot of strange going on in this world, and we can help you find out what's going on with you. Paranormal, cryptids, UFOs in the sky, aliens in your bedroom tickling your toes. We have the investigators you need to find out the answers you deserve. All you have to do is head to spacedoutradio.com. Your information is 100% confidential. The SOR Sightlines Report. It's free, and we're here to help.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Become more intimate and interactive with Spaced Out Radio. Join our Space Travelers Club with your new membership. For $5 a month, we'll provide you with special access to the website, monthly prize draws from books to psychic readings, along with monthly newsletter, private interviews, and more. Sign up today to be part of Spaced Out Radio's experience.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Don't have time to listen to Spaced Out Radio live? Wherever you are, the car, the office, the shower, or even if you're traveling, we're right here for you. Each Spaced Out Radio show can be found on iTunes, TuneIn, and on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the perfect way for you to catch up on our shows. For more information, just head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, and tune in to us today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're lighting the void on Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio. Hey, this is Joe Roop, and I'm hanging out in SOR headquarters every Saturday night, bringing you the latest news when it comes to the weird and strange. Bigfoot, occult, UFOs, ghosts, and everything in between, I got you covered. You can tune in to spacedoutradio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time. Come travel into the void with us on Spaced Out Saturdays.
The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guests and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of Spaced Out Radio, Spaced Out Weekend, Spaced Out Radio Limited, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. And hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag SpacedOutRadio. Now, back to Elizabeth Anglin and SOR.
Hey, we're back with Psychic Sunday on Cosmic Passport. We got Len in the chat room. We got Paul Simons. We've got Christopher joining in. And before we go back to our conversation about another spirit that Len has come across in his travels, I do want to welcome everyone listening from around North America and the world, especially everyone at WQEE 99 Rock the Key in Union, Georgia, at spacedoutradio.com, on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and on the Fringe.fm. Hey, if you like our music, check out Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy. He creates the music that makes Spaced Out Radio rock. He is our official SpacedOutRadio.com music, and we love him for that. If you are online and you like to be social, check us out on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like at Spaced Out Radio Show. On Facebook, you can follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. Tune us in on TuneIn. Download our shows from iTunes. We are also on RadioGuide.fm, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And of course, our website is SpacedOutRadio.com. If you go to Patreon.com, we have some cool offers for our listeners there as well. Make sure you check those out. If you want to take part in the show tonight, you'll have to sign into one of our chat rooms, either the chat room on Spreaker or the chat room on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club, or you can call in 505-908-9558. Again, that's 505-908-9558. If you head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, for just $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. Check it out. We got decent stuff for you, our valued listener there, and we'd love to see you become a space traveler, because we're all space cadets. That's just what we are. Please check out our news section on the website, The Encounter, that deals with everything paranormal, courtesy of our editor, Eric Markham, and you can check out Dave Scott's latest blog there as well. If you've had an experience you can't explain, spaceship in the backyard, aliens yelling in the woods, various and sundry other things, maybe mountain fairies, maybe something else, fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our researchers are ready to help you find out what's going on. And again, we want to give a big thanks to everyone listening at WQEE 99 Rock the Key, everyone at Renegade Talk Radio out of Las Vegas, and the United Public Radio Network on 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and their listeners from over 160 countries around the world. This week, tomorrow night, we have an SOR Spaced Out Radio replay fest tomorrow night. And then Dave Scott will be back for the other 4 nights of the week. On Saturday, Joe Roop will be in, and Roop will have his show again on Saturday night. I will be back next Sunday with Love Letters to Leo Sprinkle with Kate Grabowski. She's been able to go through Leo Sprinkle's archives, and he's gotten tons of letters from abductees in his lifetime, experiencers, and she is collating them all and putting them, as many as she can possibly put, in her upcoming book, and called Love Letters to Leo Sprinkle. So that'll be a very interesting night if you've ever had anything with aliens going on. Now, we've got another L, Len, in our chat room. We've been talking about his connection to a gangsta ghost. And Len, you want to tell us what happened with the gangsta ghost?
Well, to start with, Ron must not be talking about me because my stove's at the other end of the house. I'm 40 feet, and 3 walls from my stove. But anyway, I wanted to investigate a place and investigated it astrally the first time. Ran into it. Give you a little history of the place. It was a bar. Last I heard, it was closed and may become a bank. I don't know. It may be fun to try to astro investigate the place again, since I'm living in Arkansas now. This was a bar that opened up the year after the funeral home closed. It was a funeral home for almost 96, 7 years. And it turns out, when I run into this spirit, he claimed to be Al Capone. And then he charged that man. I zipped back into my body because, again, I was investigating astrally. And so I got curious about it. So I started looking up Al Capone, and then went down to his people who worked under him and where their funerals was. Only one of Al Capone's proven employees had his funeral at this location. And that's a man called Bruno Rodi. And his lineage is very fascinating. Turns out that his son ran for the first alderman district which included Chinatown, where this bar is located, Chinatown in Chicago. And he had a relative that while I was in Chicago, been out of Chicago now 2 years, but I lived there for 14, and while I was there, they had a truck mess, killed a family on one of the interstates because they were given licenses to uninsured and unproven, untrained truck drivers. And one of those truck drivers ran to a family and killed all of them. And he was arrested and still in jail for that. The son, they called him the Stick because he worked for the mob, and when you made him angry, he'd come at you with a baseball bat and would just break your knee. You know, real classy guy here. He was an alderman for several years, but the FBI had warned the mayor of Chicago that he was a made man, which means, you know, he was well involved with the mafia. And the FBI eventually arrested him. The last I heard, he was still in jail. And anyway, about Bruno, he was buried in 1956, I think June, which is about 30 days or a little bit less than when I was born on the 3rd of July, same year, 1956. So I'm telling my age here, so hope nobody's offended. Yes, I'm 61 years old. But the research I did for him, and there's very little on Bruno Rodi because he was a very secretive figure. He was arrested one time and did just a little bit of time. The crooked mayor of Chicago released him from jail. But he was arrested for, basically we call it now terroristic threats. Basically, they called it back then extortion because he threatened to blow up a man's house if he didn't give him $10,000. Remember, this is the 1920s. $10,000, I don't know the formula to figure out how much money that would be today. Let's just say it's a lot. And the mayor refused to pay it. Bruno told him if he went to the police, he was going to blow up his house anyway, but the man went to the police, said who he was, and Bruno blew his house up. And they arrested Bruno and put him in jail for that, but like I said, the mayor later got him released. So he blew up several houses in the Chicago area, was also responsible for several car bombs. So when you ever see a movie or a show or whatever of Al Capone, when you see that a bomb was set, kind of count on the fact that Bruno Rodi set that bomb. And if you see some unnamed actor, you know, setting a bomb, you know, for Al Capone, and they don't say who it is, he's playing Bruno Rodi.
Okay, so you met. Yeah, so you met Bruno Rodi in this bar that used to be a funeral home, funeral parlor, and how did you met him in the astral and he kind of, you know, pushed out. You met him again when you went to the place and he walked through you, set off your K2 meter, and I mean, what's your takeaway on him? We were talking about this during the break. You said he killed a lot of people, so he's going to go to hell. So he's really trapped there. And Paul and I were talking about that, and our idea is, well, my idea is he's going to have a really, really tough life review. And he's doing what I see a lot of ghosts do when I get called in for ghost, which is, God is mad with me. I can't go to the light because I'm going to end up getting sent to hell. Paul has told us that he thinks he can help Bruno Rodi. Is that okay with you if he does that?
Well, I've been thinking about it since we talked about it during the break, and it might not be a bad idea because last I heard, the bar that was there moved and it's getting closed, and they were supposed to build a bank in that building. If it has now been turned into a bank, one, where is he hanging out? Because his former cold room is now a bank vault or something, because it was in the basement of the bar down there, where within a few feet, of course, of where they did the autopsies and, whatever they do to dead bodies. And the drain, where they drained all the blood and guts from the body, where it just went into the sewer system of Chicago, was still open. If you walk close to that, your nose got attacked by the stench, because it was just an open sewer line to the bowels of Chicago sewers. But if that's a bank, he needs to be moved out of there.
Yeah.
He's got nowhere else to go. His house has been torn down. So his only other option of places where he actually visited, because Al Capone's hotel where Al used to conduct business got torn down just a few years ago. The only other place he could hang out would be his own grave.
Well,
and you know what?
Well, let me. I want to do a little bit of work on clearing him. Elizabeth, can you follow it? And Lynn, can you tune in while I'm doing the work, or is it something better for Elizabeth to do and just let everyone know what she sees?
I'll work with you any way you want to work with me.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just share what we all get. So I'll tune in.
Okay. Well, what I'm doing, I'm putting Bruno Rodi in a mirrored. I'm putting his light body at the location where the bar was, in a mirrored orb with mirrors facing in and mirrors facing out, and I'm putting the Secret High Council on the outside of the orb, circling it on all faces, and I'm now starting to spin this orb in a counterclockwise direction. And I'm asking the Spirit High Council to escort Bruno Rodi into the light and to assist him in crossing over and getting assistance, spiritual assistance, and that he's not going to hell, that he's going to be given spiritual assistance so that he can heal in his light body, and we're not here to harm him, we're here to help him, and just letting him know that he's going to be treated with respect and assistance. Do you see him moving, Elizabeth?
Yeah, he had so much guilt. I mean, he really, he did all of those things, but he felt very, very guilty about them. He still feels very, very guilty about all the things that he did. So.
He couldn't have done anything differently, and we know that.
Okay, we can't, Paul, we can't hear you. Can you talk a little more into your mic?
He couldn't have done any different, and he's been forgiven, and he needs to just continue on, and next time he's going to be more aware and do things differently, and it's okay. And he needs to know it's okay, and to just continue into the light and to get assistance and come back in next incarnation to be more sensitive and not so violent and so vicious.
Yeah, he was really stuck. Len, do you get anything?
Nothing that I didn't have before. I knew he was very much stuck, usually in the cold room. He could appear upstairs in the bar once in a while. One thing I did not tell you that he did, he ran the 26th Street gang, the mafia gang, in Chicago, the Black Hands gang. I don't know if you know what the Black Hands gang was, but it was a gang that would shake down new Italian immigrants to Chicago and other areas, in New York, wherever Italians went. The Black Hand gang would shake them down, force them to give them money so they could go to work. And then when they got them a job, they would force them to pay a certain percentage to them. And Bruno ran that gang, the 26th Street gang, until Al Capone left New York and came to Chicago and took over the 26th Street gang and just made Bruno an employee. And he's had a knack for forming bombs, so that's what he did. So he did a lot of very bad things to a lot of new immigrants coming into this country. By the way, for your information, the bar is located at 2600 South Wentworth Avenue, which is a corner, of course, at 26th Street and Wentworth Avenue. So it was right there on 26th Street where the gang was centered. And in fact, Bruno came from a grocery store only about 4 or 5 blocks down the street. It's actually still standing. So, but it's a business now, and I imagine he's not welcome there at all.
Well, let's let him.
Do you feel him?
We want to
feel him leaving?
I do, and we want to let him move on without having to remember, all the reasons why he should stay behind, because he actually does feel it. He actually does feel like when you say these things, it's almost like he's had a lot of time to sit there and think, because he's been trying to avoid moving into the light and think about people who don't believe that they have life after life will sometimes be immoral because they think it's not going to matter anyway. They don't believe in the soul, they don't believe in the spirit, so nothing bad is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, when they're dead and they find out that they're still conscious and in some form of life, they can go into really reviewing what they did, because they have this "oh crap" moment. I thought it was all going to be over, and so every time I decided to be immoral and do something because I didn't give God any credit, or I didn't give the Creator, I didn't give other people any credit, and I just thought, well, I can do whatever I want, it's not going to matter anyway. When you're dead, you're dead. And then they find out they're on the other side, and there is this whole other spiritual reality. They freak out and they look back at everything they did and go, oh, I am in so much trouble. And the situation is, everything is love when you get to the other side. So you do get a very loving review of what you've done, but it's very hard for people to be immoral.
I feel, Elizabeth, I feel he's crossed.
Yeah.
He's crossed.
I think he's crossed, and I think that's going to clear up that entire neighborhood. I'm getting that he was going between 3 buildings right there on Wentworth. So that'll help clear up a lot of stuff for everybody who's there.
Can you see that, Lynn, that he crossed?
Can I see what?
That Bruno Rody crossed. He's in the light.
Well, for a little bit, I was feeling a little bit of pressure, like, somebody was trying to say something to me or blaming me for something. And then all of a sudden, I just felt total relief. Just thought all of a sudden nothing.
Yeah, like he's gone.
Yeah,
he's gone.
He left. He was like, "Don't bring up this stuff I did, Len."
Yes.
Like, don't remind me.
He knew everything. He didn't forget. He had a memory like an elephant.
Yeah, he totally didn't forget. He had so much guilt. Poor guy, and lucky for everybody who lives there that he did cross, because he was helping add to the misery of Wentworth on 26th over there. So that's a good thing.
Okay, well, that was good. We did help clear Chicago.
Yeah, thanks, Len. Yeah.
Well, before we go, should we try to clear Ed Lynch out of New Orleans?
I'm going to move on. I had some other questions, and we could maybe talk about that after the show. But I think we've done our good deed for the new year, and we had people waiting with questions in the chat room, so I want to get them in before the end of the night, if that's okay.
Okay. Did you want me to call back in after the show, or what?
You can. Why don't you hang on, and unless you're burning minutes on your phone, you can hang on.
I'm kind of burning minutes on the phone.
Okay. Then call back in, And this number
I'll
is
call back
fine.
in about 35 minutes.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be great.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
I'll be in. Thank you very much. I'll be in the chat room.
Okay, great. So we had a question from the Spreaker chat room. I can't remember who it's from because it scrolled so far away. But it was a question for you, Paul. Do you ever work with the 12 chakras? You mean 725 chakras, people? But Paul, do you ever work with the chakra system?
I don't work with a particular chakra system other than the 7 major chakras, and I look at the body and I can see it hysterically if it's got shadows or the color or the energy is different. I can tell where the problems are, and I look at it that way. And I also do cellular DNA clearing of blocked energy and trauma from past lives, from the maternal and paternal lineage, from ancestors, and also from anything you witnessed or experienced that was traumatic, like somebody that saw a loved one killed in a car accident, or someone was shot in front of them, or a violent act that caused post-traumatic stress syndrome or some kind of shock. I can work on that too, but it's more on a cellular DNA basis. I'm also a Reiki master, and I did actually do my Reiki training under Elizabeth. So Elizabeth would remember that, but I do Reiki as well as cellular DNA clearing and energetic work.
Yeah. Reiki's a little different. I mean, what Paul does is more along the lines of where Reiki masters go, even though Paul was doing energy work before he learned Reiki, became a Reiki master. So, we don't sort of follow the Hindu/Indian chakra systems, but they're still there, but everything in the body has an energetic, and everything, and then there are things that are stored across time, and so Reiki sort of opens it up so you can do some of that cross-time work with second-degree Reiki, and there are lots of different, people have been doing this for a while. We learn lots of different modalities, and the chakra system things are great, and they can be helpful, but a lot of times chakras will get weird because you're working through something, and that's just normal. It's not causing the problem. It's just a symptom of you working through stuff in the past and clearing it out of your system, and so things will run backwards. And if you get too dogmatic about the chakra system, then you're kind of like, yeah, okay. But all right, so we had another question for me. I can't remember. I think it was Shar who asked it. Do I feel this was for me. Do I feel the same way about spirits as I do about aliens? No. Spirits, I feel like, spirits are spirits, and they don't have a lot of energy, and they generally can't do much to hurt us unless we buy into the thoughts that they project on us or try to hook us with. So if you have a negative entity or a demonic spirit or satanic or something, or just a grumpy spirit like Bruno, or nasty like Ed Lynch, they can't really do anything to you. They're not going to abduct you. They're not going to take you away. They're not going to accidentally get you stuck in a wall, which was the thing I was afraid of, for the most part. But you have to be aware of what your thoughts are around spirits, and you have to be aware of who you are versus who they are. The worst thing that spirits can do is to convince you of a paradigm or a reality or a paranormal or a paranoia, not a paranormal, but a paranoia, that people are out to get you, and you need to protect yourself, so you need to fight back. So the worst thing a spirit can do is make you into a victimizer. And which would be, you feel like you're victimized by somebody else, and then you go about fighting back or fighting them. And what's important to know is that, we're not really victims in this life. We are actually here to express our non-victimhood and our creativity. So I think spirits can be problematic if you're allowing them to manipulate you into a victim-victimizer mentality, or if you're allowing them to manipulate you into anything like cutting off your hair. You don't have to be rude to spirits. Spirits can be tricky. We get spirits pretending they're things that they aren't. And there are lots of different types of spirits. There are alien spirits. There are if you get a bad one, it's somebody who's not in a body because they didn't earn a body, or they didn't have their life review, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So you just have to be careful of spirits, but they're all over the place. And aliens, on the other hand, are much more rare. To me, they're very physical. I have had to stand my ground with aliens and stop change my agreement with the universe in order to stop them from picking me up and doing things I didn't want to have done to my body. So, but it's like spiders. Aliens to me can be like spiders to Everett Themer. He doesn't like spiders. They scare him. My physical reaction to seeing consciously aliens is still one of fear. If it's in the astral plane, I'm all right with it. If I'm bilocating, remote viewing, I'm all right with it. But, when they stand in my room and they're as physical as my cat or my dog or you and I having a conversation 3 feet away, I still get really scared. Because they can do things to me. They can paralyze me. They can beam me through a wall. They can beam me through another person. And so that's very scary. There's a more physical kind of power that they have to do things that is very frightening. But spirits, they just cause, if you get negative ones, they just cause problems mentally and emotionally, and and that's problematic too, and they're a little more sneaky. Aliens tend to do the same thing over and over and over again. Once you've got that pattern down, you know what you're in for when you see them. So that's my thought on the difference between spirits and aliens. They are not the same. Aliens are not demons. Demons are not aliens. It's different. All right. We had somebody call in, and I'm not sure if it was Robin coming back, but we had a caller call in. Who called in just a little bit ago?
It was me.
Do you have another question for us?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in a 2-story house that was built in the 1920s, and I feel like I'm being watched all the time, and I see shadow figures, and I have this big basement door that I can open that can also has a narrow door that could lead to the outside. Because and I don't open that basement door because I always feel like there's something ominous in it.
Okay, Paul, do you see anything about that?
On the other side of the basement door, yes, there is something there. It should be cleared. Are you at that house right now? Are you there right now?
I am. Yeah.
Are you in the basement by that door?
No, I'm not. I'm on the second floor.
Could you go downstairs while I clear it? Or would you rather not? I'm sure nothing bad would happen to you if you do.
Yeah, I usually don't go to the basement. It's not usually my favorite place.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go silent right now while I do some work. It'll take about 45 seconds, if that's okay. I'm going to clear your whole house, and I'm talking with you. I don't need the address. What I'm going to do is just go silent, and I'll come back on as soon as it's clear.
Okay, and so we also have Christopher on the line. Christopher, were you going to ask a question tonight after Robin?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's good for us to know. How have you been? How was your holiday?
Been very, very weird. I've had the number 29 come up, and I figured out it was a birthday of a guide that I have.
Oh.
11/29. Oh, yes. Wow. And the guide was a princess.
Oh, wow. That's neat. That's great.
Yes. I had dreams about that place, Uncle Liechtenstein, this whole holiday season, both. In Germany, it's like I have connection now.
Okay.
That spirit is cleared out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah. But you
does the house feel any different to you? All the spirits in the house have been cleared.
Yeah, it does.
Including the 8 other ones.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there were 9 spirits if you include the one in the basement.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't feel as heavy as it was.
Yeah, you had a lot of company. They're all gone now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
anytime.
Thanks. Yeah. Let's see. So, Robin, not Robin. Thank you, Robin. Christopher, what's your question for Paul?
As I learned about all these connections, what is my 2018 going to be like?
Okay. What's Christopher's 2018 going to be like?
Well, I feel like you go through the motions January, February, March, and April, things start changing. And I feel like things start to get very fast and start moving forward. It feels like you're released or you're finished with the work you've been doing in Pennsylvania and you're ready to move on to the next experience. And that happens in April.
Oh my gosh.
That's soon. Wow.
This is really mind-boggling. Do you have any idea where?
I'm being told that I'm not supposed to see it because it would change the outcome or it would interfere with things. You need to just be led, and there are going to be people that come in and situations that occur that lead you in the right direction and doors open for you that otherwise wouldn't open for anyone else. And you need to just let yourself be led. Know that you're on like a life contract or a life path correction, and you're going to be led to the right place so you can continue on your way. It's like you finish one chapter or one book in like a trilogy of books, and you're ready to start the next book, and you need to be led to the right place to start it. So what I'm feeling is like one aspect of your life is over and a new aspect is about to open up.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Good talking with you, Christopher.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christopher, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody who is in the chat room. Hey, we don't have anybody else on the line, do we? We have Robin, we have Christopher. Len's gonna. Nope, it looks like it's just us now. If you have a question for Paul Simons or myself, or you want to review something that happened in 2017 or look forward to what's happening in 2018, Paul is here, 505-908-9558. I guess, I have had so many readings, so I hesitate to ask anything about my year, because it's like, oh gosh, we've been over this and over this and over this. But I guess I will. Paul, what do you see for my 2018 if you just look at it as a big bulk?
Okay, what I'm seeing is you're following the format or the system or the structure that's been in place from 2017 going forward until about April or May, and then you break out of it. What I'm seeing like a horse with a carriage, and you disconnect the carriage and the horse just starts running and the carriage is left way behind. Like you just have been carrying this large set of responsibilities or pulling a lot of things, and it's like you go in a different direction, or you're free or liberated of it, but it's not until like April, that point in the year. It's like you keep carrying this stuff you've been doing from 2017 for another four months or so.
Very, very interesting. And do you think this would have to do with work or relationships, or
It's like you totally step out of what was, and then what is totally different.
Okay, so I don't just keep doing the same thing over and over again and sort of suffering under a yoke. That would be great.
It feels like the horse is out of the barn. It's like you're free. Like whatever the limitations were, or the concerns or worries were, are all get resolved and fixed, or you move to the next level.
Ooh, so is it the next level, or do I get a windfall? Because a windfall would be awesome.
I feel it's almost like you change houses, or you change settings, and it's like a reset.
Okay.
I don't feel it's necessarily a windfall, but it's like a reset, so you're in the right framework or the right structure. It feels like there's some issues with parts of the structure you're in now about how does it work? Do I have the money I need to pay for everything? Am I getting paid for everything I do? Is it fair? Is it equitable? There's some issues that you're grappling with, and I feel like all that stuff gets resolved or turned over, or you end up with better contracts or a better situation in April. It doesn't happen in January, but it will happen soon. April's just around the corner, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do between April. Do you think I'll still have the gallery, or do you think I'll have to give it up?
You might find that you end up with a bigger gallery somewhere else that's actually better, in a better location.
That's interesting. Yeah, because that's that's a kind of a yoke. But it could also be that I'm doing everything by myself, so being able to have somebody come in would be a great help too.
I feel like you look at everything you're doing, and you look at all the options, and then you come up with what's the most efficient, logical way to do it, and you make some changes, and then you look back and you say, gee, I should have done that sooner.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Well, one of the things I could do is I could turn the gallery into a co-op, which would mean an artist who is here would, run it a day a week, and I could do readings, which would make everything a lot easier for me. So I may do that. Do you see that being a possibility, having one of the artists do the sales a day or 2 or 3 a week?
It is, but I feel like you might go somewhere totally different, and you may even decide to do your readings as audio, video, Skype readings, and not do them in person.
Yeah.
And just have like a room where you read from that's well lit, that you can be talking to the people, and there's good lighting, and you just go into that room when you do those audio, video readings.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I could do that now. But I could do it all day long if I had somebody working the desk. But yeah, I've got a lot on my plate. Seems like a bit much for me. Okay, I'm just going to check in the chat room if anybody has any questions for you. Again, the number is 505. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for doing that for me. The number is 505-908-9558. If you are on the West Coast, 15 minutes to midnight. It is now 12:45 in Mountain Time. I have been talking all the way through New Year's Eve. Anybody who has any questions for me or Paul, feel free to call in 505-908-9558 or Skype Spirit for Peace if you have already sent me a friend request. Yeah, here we are. Okay, Shar wants to know, I missed this earlier, her dog was scared of something tonight, and she wants to know if you can see, or I can see what it might have been scared of. Do you want to take a look at that, Paul?
I feel the dog heard some loud noises, and it could have been fireworks or stuff in the distance that wasn't visible to Shar, but the dog heard.
Okay. So, yeah, a lot was going on. Your dog probably heard it and reacted to it. And that happens a lot on nights like this. In New Mexico, in Albuquerque in particular, people shoot guns up in the air on New Year's Eve. So there's a combination of fireworks, gunshots, and big fireworks and gunshots. And so if I don't know if anybody, there's a movie with Brad Pitt in it and somebody else who's famous is a girl, but I just remember Brad Pitt, where he was in Mexico and they were shooting guns up in the air on New Year's. Well, in New Mexico people do the same thing. So you want to put like a pie plate on your head or something on your head for when the bullets come back down. And it's a very, very traumatic time for animals because, it's not just the fireworks. It's not just that kind of craziness. It's actual guns going kaboom at midnight. Fun, really, really fun if you're drunk and you're sitting around a bonfire and you realize that you're in danger because of all the gunshots. but because, danger can be fun. Paul, what do they do in Brazil? Is there anything they do special?
They light off lots of fireworks, and the dogs get very scared.
Yeah. So last year we lost Gabe, who was a big black guardian dog of someone in town, and I was running up and down the street looking for Gabe with his owner after midnight. So yeah, if your dog is in your house, keep him in your house. Don't let him out, because it can be a little bit terrifying. Okay, so we have another question from Kit Kat in the Spreaker chat room, and it's a little bit vague, but Kit Kat asks, where is the door I need to open in 2018?
Where's the door?
What door does Kit Kat need to open in 2018?
I'm seeing it as light, and what I'm seeing is that she's walking forward and walks right into it, it's almost like she gets a promotion, or she gets like recognized, and the situation changes for her without her having to do anything.
Okay, I have to tell you, I'm sure if Kit Kat's still listening, she will have something to say about that. So she added to that, what would happen in 2018 if I abandoned my life? And I'm wondering if this is like, Kit Kat letting the horse go free from the yoke. I think she means it that way. What would happen in 2018 if I abandoned my life? Which is, I think, the structure.
It's like you're watching something get farther and farther ahead of you and disappear in the horizon. It's like she's leaving everything behind and she's moving forward. It's like she's in a stuck situation and she's basically saying, I have to let go and break out of this rut or this mold to get unstuck. And she does, and she leaves it all behind her.
Awesome! Because I did talk to Kit Kat about something that came up which could very well help her do that, and I hope that's still going on for her. So Kit Kat, let us know how that was, because I'm very excited to hear Paul say this. I haven't said anything to Paul about you previously. So I would like to know if you have a follow-up question, let us know, because that's very exciting to me after I did a session with you to hear him say that. All right. I am learning 2 new art forms in 2018. So my question for you is, stamped tin work, how's that going to go?
Good. But she's going to need more practice. I feel like she can do it, but she's not confident yet. She needs more practice.
Well, she is me, so I need more practice. But it'll go good for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need more confidence.
I need more confidence and I need more practice. Okay. Pottery, how's that going to go? Just as pottery.
I see it going round and round. It must be a pottery wheel.
It's actually
this takes a long time. You have a manual pottery wheel. I guess you don't use electric ones, and you just keep kicking it and kicking it and kicking it, and it keeps going round and round and round. And it's like I think you get frustrated with how many times you have to kick it to get one pot. Well, I'm not sure if you're keeping score, but you're it's taking a long time.
Well, I'm not getting a pottery wheel. I'm doing coiled pottery, which means I'm going to be turning the pot around in my own hands again and again and again. So I probably should make some pretty small pots if I'm going to be impatient. And if Paisley were here, she'd say, "Oh, Elizabeth is impatient," and then she'd laugh. But the coiled pots, you actually turn them around again and again and again in your hands because you don't have a pottery wheel. And you can also break them when you fire them because you put them in a fire. Like you put them in a fire, and if there's anything, there's a loud sound or there's any air in the clay, they'll break. So it's maybe a good skill for Amy, but not a good skill for Elizabeth. Okay, we got it.
I think you prefer the pottery wheels.
Oh, so I may end up getting a pottery wheel just because the coiled stuff takes so long. Oh.
Time is money.
Time is money. Okay, but tin is good because tin's a good thing. Anybody else with any questions for Paul? All right, what do you see happening with Spaced Out Radio? Dave is doing this whole syndication thing. How do you see that going?
I see him not being sure what's the best deal and kind of dragging his feet on it, like not moving as quickly as he originally had suggested he would, because he's like, not sure if he's getting the best deal or if he should wait a little while. And I see him like taking longer to do it.
Do you think that's a good reaction, or part of me, and this might just be Elizabeth, part of me is thinking that he should just move forward with it. What do you think?
He doesn't really know what the best deal is that he can get. So if he gets a deal offered to him, it's like, well, maybe if I wait a month, I'll get a better deal, and I shouldn't be so hasty. So I feel like he's got a little bit of uncertainty about what's the right price or what's the right deal, and that's partly making it hard for him to sign off on anything.
Okay, because he probably wants more. Now he's doing a GoFundMe, which everybody should know about, and it is the New Year's. If you didn't give Spaced Out Radio a gift, there is a GoFundMe. We own the night. It's Spaced Out Radio's GoFundMe. Go on GoFundMe and give a gift. We are... somebody, Catalina, wants to know, will Dave get the money for his GoFundMe goal?
Let me look at that. Is Dave going to get the full amount of money for his GoFundMe goal? No.
Will he get... But he'll get a good amount. He'll get over half, right?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
No, he really needs to get a bank loan like most businesses.
Okay. Needs to get a bank loan like most businesses. Uh-oh, Dave. There you go. You heard it from Paul's mouth. We have a new caller on, and somebody is asked to go into overtime. I do not have the overtime buzzer, which Dave Scott has. But, caller, what's your question for Paul?
Yeah, it's Robin again.
Okay. How's it going?
And my friend Ross Allison is a ghost hunter, and I would like to know if I would become part of his team in 2018.
Okay, just a minute, please. Yes.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Robin.
In April 2018.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
All right. Well, it's coming up. If you're on the West Coast, you got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to midnight. If you want overtime, you guys got to call in. But I think it's also very, very late, Paul's time. Paul, what time is it there?
It's 5:57.
Yeah,
in the morning.
And he's going to have to get up and get out and start his day very soon. He's just slept through this entire show. If people want to work with you, Paul, how do they contact you?
My email is the best way to contact me because I'm in Brazil and I don't carry a cell phone. So just email me at paul@mediumpaul.com and let me know what you're looking to do. If it's astrology, if you want a reading. I do Skype readings, video, audio readings, or just an audio call. And I can call any phone, cell phone, or landline. It's.
Go ahead.
I also do cellular DNA clearing and trauma shock from losses of loved ones, from trauma from violent crimes, and also from abuse. And if somebody wants cellular DNA clearing or energy balancing, I enjoy doing that. I also can do house clearings like I did on the show. I don't have to go to the house, and they're very reasonably priced too.
We've got 90 seconds to New Year's, according to Dave Scott in the chat room. We've got another caller on the line. I think it's Len coming back. Len, is that you?
Yes, you asked me to call in toward the end of the show.
Okay.
And you're about as close to the end as you can get.
Yeah, so we're not going to go into overtime, but I think there are things happening after the show. You can stay in the chat room as long as you'd like, I think. Everybody, thank you so much for being a great audience, great to us this year on Spaced Out Radio, especially on Cosmic Passport. It's been so great getting to know all of you. I'm going to say great about 1,000 times. I'm so happy to get to spend time with you every day of the week. So you have a wonderful and blessed 2018. We will see you next Sunday. Good night, everybody.